search for Brian Laundrie is over, but the search for answers about his death remain. Tonight, the nature reserve where search teams made the grim discovery, now open to the public after being closed for a month.
This tiny little park here in Northport, Florida, who'd have thought that this kind of frenzy would be generated?
Cameras getting a close look at the scene for the first time, seeing how dense the woods are and how wet the area is. Laundrie's remains were found in this area deep in the reserve that was recently underwater. Much of the reserve is untamed swamp, home to alligators, snakes, and wild pigs. While the FBI says dental records confirm Laundrie's identity, more information is needed from his remains, which include a portion of a human skull, to determine exactly how the 23-year-old died. After a medical examiner was unable to determine cause of death, the Laundrie family attorney tells NBC News the remains were sent to an anthropologist for further evaluation. The anthropologist specializes in analyzing hard tissues such as bones. Forensic pathologist Dr. Priya Banerjee says investigators will likely use x-rays on the remains, searching for anomalies and fractures or any objects within the bone. But she says determining a cause of death will be a challenge.
I don't envy my colleagues. All the tissues are no longer there. And if there were some sort of trauma, you may not see it. It's like you can't complete a puzzle if you're missing many pieces.
Authorities began a massive manhunt for Laundrie after his fiancée, Gabby Petito, went missing in August. Laundrie named a person of interest in her murder after her remains were found in a Wyoming national park. At Laundrie's parents' home today, a request for privacy.
We're sorry for your loss. Thank you.
Katie Beck joins me now. Katie, you're getting a close-up look inside the reserve. How severe are the conditions there?
Well, Jose, the conditions are quite extreme, and while we know Brian Laundrie was an experienced survivalist, the heat here, the wildlife, as well as the flooding, these would be difficult circumstances for anyone to endure over a long period of time. Jose?
Okay, so I want to dive into the videos of Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie on the side of the road in Moab, Utah. This is when they were initially pulled over because of the erratic driving, like we talked about in episodes 1 and 2. And we're going to basically play a little bit. The sound is awful, so I apologize. There's nothing more frustrating on a podcast than listening to a recording where you can't hear it, but I can't help that. However, we'll kind of dig into what's happening here, and then I'd like y'all's input on what you see in like mannerisms, what's said, if you catch anything. So this is video 1 when they're initially pulled over.
Do you want to place your vehicle in the park and go ahead and turn it off for me?
Right off the bat, I'm fine.
No, park? Oh, it isn't parking. Okay, turn off your engine. Go ahead and set your keys on the dash for me, all right? What's your guys' names? Gabby, Brian, okay. What's going on? How come you're crying?
I'm sorry, we've just been fighting this morning. Some personal issues.
It was a long day. We were camping yesterday and camping got supplies and stuff. I'm sorry I hit the bump there.
I was distracting him from driving. I'm sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
Yeah, I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine. I'm going to go ahead and close your door, okay? Why don't you come over here? SO229, I have the female that was in the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell them?
Yeah, I don't know. It just, some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying, I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him, I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am like in a bad mood, I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
What do you do for a living?
Well, I used to work at an organic juice bar, but I just quit my job.
Okay.
I was a nutritionist. That was my job.
Cool.
And I just quit my job to travel across the country. And I'm trying to start a blog. And have a blog and stuff. So I've been building my website. So I've just been really stressed. And he doesn't really believe that I can do any of it. So that's kind of been like a, I don't know, he's like, I don't know, we've just been fighting all morning. And he wouldn't let me in the car before. And then
Why wouldn't he let you in the car? Because
he
you're OCD?
told me I need to calm down. Yeah. But I'm perfectly calm. I'm calm all the time. And he really stresses me out. And this is a rough morning.
Well, why don't we do this? Why don't I sit you down in the back seat of my car? You're not in any trouble, okay? I'm not going to be putting handcuffs on you. You obviously don't have any weapons. I'm going to get you into the air conditioning, let you take a breath, relax a little bit, and then I'll come back and talk to you in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
All right. Like I said, you're not in any trouble.
Okay, so what are your impressions of that first video and her talking?
She apologized a lot to her boyfriend, like she did everything wrong.
But here's the very first thing she said, "I'm fine," when the cops came to the car.
Oh, yeah, that's
and
a
she
good
rolled
point.
down the window. "I'm fine."
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Blamed herself multiple times.
Yeah.
Apologized for him, to him.
Yeah. And you could see like she'd bend over a little bit because, she's visibly upset.
Yeah, physically.
And whenever she said he doesn't believe I can do it, she bent over. Like that really upset her. And I'm thinking that, they must have gotten in some type of argument. Maybe he was jealous of her being on the computer or working because he probably needed all of her attention. I don't know. But he has probably developed a pattern of demeaning her ability to have this website, to build the blog, because of just the physical response she had when she said that, like she bent over. And so that tells me it really bothered her.
Couldn't he also been saying that so it wouldn't take time from him? Doing the insult and just...
Yeah, but she wouldn't know that.
I know, she wouldn't know it, no.
Yeah. And then she said, I'm calm, I'm usually calm. Well, if you're a policeman, you're going to be like, okay, which is it? Do you struggle with anxiety? Do you struggle with OCD? Or are you calm?
Yeah. Yeah.
So already it's not looking the best for her. Okay, so this is video 2. And I believe at this point they're going to talk to Brian, if I'm not mistaken.
What's that? Yeah, I just spoke to her. So, you want to do me a favor? Let's go ahead and get you to step out of the vehicle, alrighty?
Okay, I saw your face.
It's interesting, that he said
so
that.
I want to pause it before we go on. So you've already talked to Gabrielle?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
First thing out of his mouth.
So it's like, what do you know?
Yeah,
what did she say?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. So that right there set me off too. And well, not only that, but it's a dumb question.
Right.
I mean, literally, he's walking her, and literally you can see in the side view mirror that they're talking. So
he could have been nervous.
Why do you want to know? I mean, that's obvious. So yeah, I'm like you guys. I think that he wanted to know what she said. Okay.
Poor thing.
Come on over here. You're not in any trouble right now. So, tell me what's going on.
The shoes gets worked up sometimes, and I try and really distance myself from her, so I locked the car and I walked away from her. What happened this morning is that she's trying to start up like her own little website blog and everything, so I give her time. We really had a nice morning and everything, but she just got worked up as we were trying to get going and get her day going because we want to go make cars and stuff like that.
Okay. You want to tell me about those scratches on your face?
She hit herself on her hand, that's why I was pushing her away, because she wanted to, I left the keys so I could walk away. I said, let's just take a breather and let's not go anywhere. Let's just calm down for a minute because she was getting really worked up. And then she had her phone and was trying to get the keys. She was trying to, I I know I shouldn't push, but I just trying to push her away to go, let's just take a minute, step back and breathe. And you see she got me with her phone.
Can I see your hand? Oh, you got a mark right here.
Oh, that's from a wire.
That's from a wire?
Yeah.
You want to tell me about hitting that curb?
Hitting the curb was her grabbing the wheel.
She grabbed the wheel?
Yeah. She said, I can't believe we're getting pulled over, and she grabbed the wheel.
What about the speed? Did she take over the...
No,
take over the pedal on you?
If I was going fast, I'm sorry. No, it's probably just the moment of, I'm still thinking, yeah, the adrenaline, seeing the lights flashing up, and then her gripping the wheel. So if I sped up, I'm sorry about that. Or if I was speeding beforehand, I'm sorry about that.
Okay, it took quite a bit to catch up to you. So,
yeah. I'm sorry about that. We're just going into the park again to get water, to get a 6-gallon water container to fill up, so we're just grabbing water for the hike. Okay. And I was trying to keep everything calm and quiet, because there's plans still to go for a hike. I'm sorry about that.
Of course. Do me a favor. You want to go ahead and just take a seat right over here on the curb for me?
And if I was speeding, I'm sorry. I apologize.
You don't have anything in my pocket or anything like that, do you?
Nope.
Just the wallet? All right. And then, do you mind lifting your shirt so I can check your waistband?
I got to turn around for me real quick.
I just want to make sure. That's all, man. Go ahead, do me a favor, take a seat, all right?
I'll say crisscross applesauce, but can I just sit in the shade because I'm bald? It's okay. I'll give you some shade. Sound good?
All right, just hang tight for me.
Okay.
You know the first thing I heard? I let her work on the website.
He said that?
He did.
Oh, I didn't hear that. See, this is why I like us discussing cases. Okay, that's interesting.
I let her or told her. It was I found that sort of. And it was all about her.
She gets worked up. I was trying to put distance.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And he apologized.
Well,
for himself.
So he was talking insanely fast until he was lying. And then it was slow. I noticed that. It kept wringing his hands. I mean, clearly, especially at first, he was extremely nervous.
Yeah.
But also towards the very end, she supposedly grabbed the wheel and hit the curb because, oh crap, the cops are behind me. And they were like, we had been following
to catch up.
Yeah, for quite a while or something like that. And oh, you did? Oh, I'm sorry if I was speeding. Oh, I'm sorry this. Like,
But you know, he could have been nervous too.
Yeah,
he was absolutely
he was
nervous.
definitely nervous.
Stopped.
But also, you know, like anytime you get pulled over, you typically have an adrenaline dump. But one of the cops, I don't know if I have it in any of our clips, I might, but one of the cops said you seem a little bit hyped up. So that makes me wonder if they were trying to determine if he was on any type of narcotics. But what is interesting is notice the size of his hands.
That's they're huge.
They are huge, and she's tiny.
Yes.
I saw that right away.
Yeah, so those are the hands that killed her.
Crazy.
And then he goes, crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, very
Can
odd.
you move me to the shade because I'm bald? And the cop just kind of jokes with them.
Yeah.
What I see is a person who's able to build rapport quick.
Yeah.
Well, I got manipulation right off the bat out of that.
Because
deflecting.
rapport, you know, like I tell people in the trainings I do that, you know, emotional intelligence, awareness, etc., can also be used for dark terms or dark uses, because if you know how people think and their personalities and their level of emotional intelligence and all of that, you can actually build rapport real easy for your own motives, your own agenda, and not in serving others. And I think he's one that's figured out how to have like this, I'm a good kid, you know, I'm sorry that this happened, I'm so sorry, you know, like he just seems to be able to build like crisscross applesauce.
That was
Are
weird.
You 8? You know, so I think that's part of his good old boy type thing.
I've been stopped before though, and I just vomit nervousness. I just say all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, I think he's
kidding,
definitely
a little
nervous.
joking, because I don't know why I do that.
Well, he was behaving like a kid. If you notice when he first came up, I noticed that like he was like this.
Making himself small.
Yeah. Wringing his hands. I mean, what children don't kind of fidget when they're in trouble. The crisscross applesauce.
Yeah, it's a little bit weird.
That was a weird comment, for sure.
Okay, now, the witnesses said, if you remember, that he slapped her. She was hitting him in the arm, but also that he hit her.
Yeah.
There's a difference to me between slapping and hitting.
Yeah.
You know, most people slapping, you know, that's just common knowledge. You don't have a closed fist. Hitting to me is either
a fist
or maybe you backhand or something like that. So, but he said he was pushing her away, and so I don't know, because as we go on, even the witness statements, they're different on the video than what my research has shown. So I'm not sure what was going on there.
And there's no physical
marks
on
her face.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, there will be some. Mhm.
Oh.
So now he's going back over, and quite frankly, I really like this cop. He was just trying to get them on their way and not in jail.
And calm down, yeah.
Okay.
Try meditation up, but you tend to have a lot of anxiety and stress.
I have a lot of anxiety.
And what's his name? Is it Ryan? Is he usually pretty patient with you?
Yeah, but it just makes me upset. I know that he definitely gets frustrated with me a lot.
Way of taking my anxiety and bringing it down, but my ex-wife, as much as my ex-wife, I'm just trying to, I know it's a little personal, but to help you understand, we would feed off each other's anxiety and spiral. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter how much I loved her. It may be bad for your soul. Just saying. I'm not saying what to do with your life, but if you know you have anxiety, look at the situations you can get in. You know what I mean? And we're not here to be mean to you or anything. Well, you know, there's a first time, and then it usually. We'll go see what Brian's saying, but I think you've heard everything now from.
Quick question. You said you were hitting him in the arm. Did you grab the steering wheel?
No, I didn't.
You did not touch the steering wheel.
But only for like a second, because I just saw the lights come on, and it was more just like you're an idiot, like, you know.
But did you grab the steering wheel and like swerve or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
The steering wheel at all.
I'm gonna go ahead and close this door again. Do you have enough air back here, or do you want me to kick it up some more?
Any water?
I will see if I can find some.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
Oh, she's such a sweetheart.
You know, that officer was really trying to help her. When
He
you
was
have
trying to-
anxiety, basically, when you're with someone like that,
Yeah.
you know, you got to move on.
He was trying to show her signs.
Yeah.
He was. And I don't think they knew the scope of the anger that was in Laundrie. But, so he says she grabbed the steering wheel. She says she did not grab the steering wheel. And so now the cops are like, okay, one's saying she did, one's saying one is saying that they didn't. So they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure out who is the aggressor here, who do we need to take to jail if we need to, or can we resolve this in any type of, peaceful, manner. But the one thing, and I'm trying not to read too much. I mean, obviously, like reading body language, studying signs of people lying. One of the things that I look for is if I ask a question and there's a pause, and then there's like sometimes people will like lift a shoulder or they'll kind of sway their head. When he said, is he normally patient with you? She paused, and you could tell by her face she was thinking what she should say.
Yep.
That tells me no.
Right.
Yep.
That he was not.
And her body language.
Yeah, she would have said no or yes immediately.
Yeah.
I would have.
Yeah. So I think that he's not or wasn't patient with her, but she didn't want him to get in trouble.
She went, yeah.
Yeah.
Did I tell y'all, this is off subject, but about people, just saying things? Did I tell you when Stephen had a procedure, they asked him if he had violence at home, and he said yes. They treated me like shit.
I wish I'd have
and
been
handed
there.
me pamphlets.
I would have fed into
on
it.
abuse. I'm just saying that because he was telling everyone that last night.
Now, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this the same Stephen that sent the email about spousal abuse?
Mom, I think.
In all caps. Help.
Let me tell you something.
Me. Oh,
Here's
fussy
the thing.
face. Fussy.
No, I don't care. Let me just tell you this thing. Here's the thing. If anything ever happened to him, because of these stories he tells and the email, I'll be in jail.
Here's what I'm thinking. Ted Bundy worked alongside, was it Anne Rice? What is her name?
Mm-hmm.
Anne Rule.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Interesting that you're interested in true crime, and now you're setting up
I'm
your
just saying,
backstory.
It could so.
Are we
get
not
me in
identifying
trouble.
the signs?
I think there's
Sherry?
signs. Yes.
Interesting.
Now, he was coming out of medication like anesthesia or something, wasn't it?
No, it was before.
Oh.
They had just given him something and was wheeling him off. He was fine.
Whoa, they had just given him
something.
You know, in the IV.
You know, I think we need to visit with him
I
privately.
do too. We need to make sure he's safe.
Yeah, safe
That
and
he's
smart.
rude, and he's not going to be a victim.
Right.
Anyway, back to our Gabby Petito.
Started beginning, well, I don't want to go too far back, but we've been in Beyond Land for the past week or so, traveling around, and the flies here are pretty intense, so the flies have definitely been getting to her, and then my feet are dirty and everything, so I think that our little squabble started because we were hanging out at the coffee shop, and when I got back to the bed, there was some dirt and stuff in the van, and I moved our food around, it was a little disorganized, so she gets a little...
Sorry about that.
It's okay.
Do you need any water?
That's okay.
It's hot out
I
here.
was down we were going to get water because we ran out, but it's okay. No, it's okay. I don't like plastic bottles. But
So did y'all hear that?
Yeah, I don't like plastic bottles.
And he mentioned I think it was the Moonflower Community Center or whatever, that was the coffee shop.
Yeah.
That we talked about, I believe, in episode 1 or 2. But to me, you know, he's like, the flies were getting to us.
Yeah.
I got a little bit of dirt, you know, in the van. So obviously the argument started with small things.
Yeah.
And then it escalated.
I think so too.
Okay.
we just had a little disagreement there. And the disagreement was just that she was getting a little worked up, and I was saying, "Oh, it's okay. Thank you so much."
It's not his fault. That's good.
So it was just more of a disagreement, and I just wanted to.
What was the disagreement about?
It was. I wouldn't even call it disagreement. It was just I'm dirty and I can't change being dirty. Like I got dirty feet, I got sand on my flip flops and stuff like that. It was that we were at a coffee shop for so long because we were there from 9 to 3. So yeah, there's a few little things, just little relationships. I don't get a relationship in 3.
I've been married for over 5 years now. So.
There's a lot of little things. And we really we weren't physical before the point where I said, all right, let's just take a breather and like walk away for a minute. I'll walk the van up and I'll go for a walk this way, and you can go walk that way in the block. You know, there's that room, but I wanted to.
Now, I wanted to point out real quick his body language where he would have his hands together, and it's like he's trying to hold it in. To me, he's got real tight body language at times where his hands are closed. Now, other times his hands are going out, you know, and he's using them to express what he's saying. But other times he's really like tightly controlled. And if you look like at his neck and stuff, I mean, you could tell he is tense. But I also think he's very angry. And I've seen that like before in some true crime videos and things like that, where when you have the body cam or you've got, you know, them in the room, they'll be very tight and controlled with their body movements, and usually that's when they're trying to hold back emotion. And I think he is madder than hell that they get in these ridiculous arguments. It's the little things, and now they've got the cops on the side of the road, and he's already minimizing his role.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, I tried to get her to, you know, back off. I tried, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just like his letter saying she got hurt and he wanted to put her out of her misery because she begged him. So he's doing the exact same thing here. And I think he had more of a role because, again, the eyewitnesses saw him slap and hit her. But like I said later, it doesn't sound like that's what they said. So anyway, I want y'all to notice
that he's nervous. I mean, that it's all about her, but I don't know if he's angry. I just think he's very
extreme nervousness with the
with
face
everything.
and the
And I only say that because I have been real nervous before, where I do that, and I've done that before. My arms swing, my hands, I tighten them up, I put them across my chest.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, and sometimes body language will slow down as well if they're lying. So if he's normally fidgety like he is, and he's wringing his hands, and all of a sudden he is very controlled. But yeah, I think he was full of rage. I mean, that's the only way that he could throttle someone.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But it could be just nervousness. But I don't know the tension because the neck area is what interests me in the shoulders, and if they start coming up, because usually anger you feel up here, and then fear you feel down here.
I was just looking here, and then his face was just like, I'll look at that.
But he doesn't want to drink from plastic bottles, but he, hit his girlfriend.
Right.
Nice areas. You can go either way. It's all shaded. So it's just for a little walk and breathe or come back. It's pretty, pretty happy with it. But she just, I'm not upset with her. She got worked up. She had a phone in her hand and keys and everything. She wanted, not a keys, like her rings, rings, phone. I was holding on to the keys because I didn't want to go anywhere. And my big fear is, I don't have my phone. I don't have a phone. So she goes off without me. I'm on my own. So I was saying, let's just go for a walk. And she was trying to get the keys for me, so I just go straight back up. And that's
what?
Full of lies.
Well, so at first when he said, I don't have a phone, later he actually had a phone in his hand. However, what I think, because at first I'm like, what a liar. You had a phone, you jerk.
Oh, that wasn't even what I was talking about, but I thought it was odd that he didn't have a phone.
Well, it was in the van.
Okay.
So I think what happened is his phone was in the van, she had her phone, and if she had the keys and took off, he would have no phone and no ability to call anybody.
Lifting up your right sleeve for me? I'm curious about something.
Okay. It's a little bit there. I suppose fingernails, but I'm not complaining.
Is it bruised or tender or anything like that?
I'm fine. I look at it. I hope she doesn't have too many complaints about me. I feel bad. I think it's so public. I was just trying to be loud. This, trying to make her calm down and be like, look, everyone's watching.
Now, did y'all see the emotion on his face? It was like he was
towards
tearing
the
up,
end.
and he was really distressed.
Yeah.
And so he's got some marks on his face, his neck, some on his hands. And so obviously they were both physical with each other.
Yeah.
But for all of the negative feeling I have for Brian Laundrie, you can see the helplessness he feels in this situation.
Right.
Now, whether it's that he wishes he wasn't in it or he legitimately loved her and his anger and his selfishness and all of that went out of control, I don't know. But he does display emotion several times.
I think he loved her. But, at the end, he was saying, I'm fine, because I don't think he wanted her to get arrested.
No, he didn't. He did not want her to get arrested at all.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, and that's why we emphasize the importance of caring for yourself and getting out of toxic relationships, because if they would have gotten away from each other and just moved on, none of this would have happened. Would he have grown out of his anger issues? Maybe. Right. But I think he was a person that he got so mad, he he killed her. And that's what the danger is. And so I don't know, was it like just inherent in him and that's how he was always going to be, or as he matured would he have calmed down, you know, with life lessons and things like that. But the cop saying, you know, basically if you guys are feeding off of each other and you're toxic, y'all probably need to get away because it's not good for the soul.
Right.
Yeah.
So that was interesting. But yeah, he definitely has emotion, and they're still questioning him here, and I don't think there was really. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. So watch when he has his hands down. He starts fidgeting with his fingers and things like a little child in trouble.
And what's interesting is, in a lot of it though, his body language is open, and then he tilts his head. I don't know if y'all noticed that. Well, that is an instinctual. Like the brain will do that to let people know you're safe. Another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're exposing your carotid artery. And then another thing is holding the hands out. It's instinctual as well when you're trying to calm things down, and you'll hold them out to get people to, you know, relax.
None that I know.
Okay, the reason I wanted to play that is they're asking him, does she take any medication? And Brian goes, she's crazy. No, and starts laughing, and the other cop laughs. Now, the reason that's interesting to me is not so much that, you know, that he said that, but that he's building a rapport. Humor is one of the things that people will use to get things to, you know, come down a little bit. Yeah. In fact, in marriages, you know, if a couple cannot insert humor into a disagreement and just kind of laugh a little bit and lighten the mood, sometimes it could be a sign they're in danger. And so humor is really important in relationships, but I just find it funny because, again, he's building a rapport with these cops, whether he knows he's doing it or not, which tells me he's very experienced at doing that.
I use humor, too, when I'm nervous. To lighten it a bit. I do. I notice I do
you
that.
definitely do that.
Yeah, I do.
You do. You do.
I do.
You do.
Even if they're bad jokes, I have them.
You do.
All right, so we're still with Brian. And at this point, now this is interesting. Notice that his mask is down now.
Now, just a minute ago it wasn't.
Yeah.
Here's why that's significant. Have you guys ever been at a restaurant where there's like the centerpiece, you know?
Yeah.
And you're in a really good conversation, really connecting with a friend or your spouse. What do?
I move them.
Move everything over because there's a block between the intimacy, the rapport, the conversation. The mask is a natural barrier. The fact that he pulled it down tells me they're already connected. Now, I'm not blaming the florist guy, but the fact he moved his mask tells me he's trying to connect with him or has connected with him, and he's removing the barrier. So that is interesting, and what Brian's doing is succeeding. Now, I believe both of them got ridiculous.
Right.
But I do believe that he's minimizing his anger, and he's minimizing what he did, and he's blaming her for stuff that she did not do.
He only took credit for driving too fast.
But she grabbed the wheel, and she's like, no, and she doesn't know that he said she grabbed the wheel. So that, and they're not going to tell her, they're just going to ask her straight up. She's like, no, I didn't grab the wheel. So she has no idea that he's, you know, throwing her under the bus, or I should say van.
4 to 5 outside. 0 to 5. What was the determinants? What was the impact? Moving on ice or going to Soylent? Right there. Her grandmother's best friend lives in Portland. We're seeing it. 2 years ago, we did a watch cross-country trip, which we loved. We were in Nissan Sentra. We were in a tiny little car. So I was like, let's do it better. It's going to be big van. Big tiny van. I said, let's try to do it a little better.
Okay, so what is being said, because it's hard to hear, is he's describing how they did their first cross-country trip in their car. And so on this trip, he's like, why don't we get a van and do like a little tiny van home? And he's describing where all they've been or they're going, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm from California originally. Oh, yeah. So, and part of my job, I dealt with employees that would states like Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, everything you can think of on your level master, right? I know most of them.
It's worldwide opportunities on organic farms. So it's like a volunteer working type of situation where you can work on organic farms. So that's our goal once we get over to Washington. We don't do that in Washington, then down to Oregon, and then down to California. What part of California is that?
I'm from a town just outside Sequoia National Park. If you're going to be going through there,
we'll get good anyway back to work.
No, it wasn't too bad at all.
Okay, so again, just talking about where all they went the previous trip, what do y'all think about that exchange?
Oh, I don't like it at all. It's too familiar for both of them.
Yep.
For all of them.
And again, I can't figure out, did he know how to do that? Is he so accomplished? Because people like him that are very private and they don't like their business aired, and I think that's one reason why he's angry and he's anxious. I mean, they learn how to ask questions about others and find out, like they just know how to do that. And it makes me wonder if he was really good at getting people to like him, or maybe he just had that type of personality. And
well, the police were pretty friendly too. That made him relax.
But you remember he asked a question. Where are you from?
Yeah, so I felt that he was super nervous, unsure at first, trying to lie the situation, and then he saw something and went a different approach, trying to. I think that there was a tactic that changed in him for sure.
Yeah. So now, again, we're just playing clips, but we're getting close to the point where they're trying to figure out what do we do here, and who is the aggressor. So they're going to go back over to Gabby.
He never saw the male strike the female. He saw the male trying to lock her out of the vehicle. She even told us that he was trying to lock her out, told him to go take a walk, so that she was trying to get in. She eventually couldn't get in and actually clawed her way in through the driver's door. He says, I don't understand why she's doing that. Well, I think it's because it was the only door that wasn't locked that she could get through. She's trying to get in over him. He's trying to disengage from her. I guess he hung her backpack on the back, probably so she'd have her shit, so that he didn't have to engage with her. Everything she's saying is the same thing. I haven't heard what he said, but if that's what he said, it's also what the witness is saying. The witness says, I never saw him hit her. I saw him shove her, but I couldn't tell if it was an aggression against her or a defense against her.
Now, see, that's not every report I read said, the witnesses said he slapped her and he hit her. So I don't know if he got the wrong information.
Had to have.
Because, I mean, usually, like, you'll find conflicting reports,
right?
And so you have to figure out by videos or courtroom testimony or courtroom records what the truth was. And so I'm confused as to why he said that when the witnesses reported it as a domestic violence. And if I'm not mistaken, I think one of the 911 calls had one of the witnesses saying he hit her and slapped her that I watched in a series about it. So I don't. But can you see what the cop is doing?
He's taking his side.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't have all the information.
He may not.
There's probably more than just
interaction.
A couple witnesses there's probably a lot of witnesses.
Look at the cop's perspective, though, in that she's hysterical. Mm-hmm. She can't quit crying. He's calmer. He's
has all the marks.
BSing with, the
and he
cops.
Does have the marks, yeah.
Asking questions, and he's got these marks on his face, and she's not saying he hit me. She's minimizing her role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So right. I don't know if I would have come to a different conclusion, actually.
No. And plus all the scratches on him and none on her. I mean, that helped his case too.
Yeah.
As far as her, being the aggressor. So at this point, unless the guy's screaming that he needs to go to jail and did something to this girl, it sounds to me like she is the primary aggressor. Now the problem with her being the primary aggressor is in an instance of domestic assault, be it a male or be it a female, we shall arrest. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to go to jail. We can do a citation if it meets one of three criteria, which one of them is that we can ensure that they're not going to further risk each other's safety. But the problem with that is they live in the same vehicle.
That's what I was going to say. The other part of it is
actually going to injure you too to the victim, which is him.
Right, and I'm getting conflicting stories about why they hit the curb up here.
What did he say why he hit the curb?
Well, I watched, this is what I saw first. Saw him cross the double yellow. I was doing 42 miles an hour. I was, I don't know, probably 2 car lengths behind him, tapping my wheels at him, trying to get his attention. They knew I was behind him. And then after he crossed the double yellow, he merged over into the right lane, and then out of nowhere, just boom, hit me.
So did he tell you why?
Bet that was out of anger.
That she grabbed the wheel and turned it real hard. She said that she was hitting him in the arm. So
sounds legit. I mean, I'm sure if I'm driving and my arm's on the wheel and I'm getting hit in the arm, I'm probably pulling on the wheel.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was a little of both, and usually the truth is somewhere between. He's probably trying not to say that he hit her because he probably doesn't want her charged with assault. Yeah. Domestic assault. He probably would rather say she pulled the wheel than hit him.
I can see where they'd believe that. I mean, he has scratches on him.
Yeah.
So they're assuming she was the aggressor this time, which
Yep.
she was.
So at this
time.
point, like you heard him say, he's the victim.
Yeah.
She's the aggressor. So now he's going through the law.
Right.
Like, okay, what do we do here? They, like, if we do a citation versus arresting, they can't be together. They have to be separated. If we arrest, you know, she's going to have a criminal record. So at this point, she is going to be arrested because she is the aggressor and he is the victim, which I think is very ironic. Like, it makes me really angry.
Oh, it happens.
But again, they're not... I just can't find any fault with them. I think they should have been maybe not as friendly.
Yeah.
But is that a police tactic to keep things de-escalated? I don't know.
The body language was too friendly on that one cop. Because, yes, they do use that as a tactic, as you know, but that body language is very chill.
Yeah. And they're going to be looking at his body language as well. You know, is he open? Does he close off? I mean, you know, which direction does his eyes go? Is he fabricating a story? I don't see any
Yeah.
And that's usually a sign that they're lying. So, man, I know a lot of people got mad at the cops, but I can't find so far that they've done anything.
Sometimes they do that. He said, you know, that to make the people comfortable, like a family-ish kind of atmosphere, friend atmosphere.
Yeah.
So they'll speak more, talk more.
Yeah, because if you come off as a jerk, they're going to immediately be quiet and they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one, I think we're back at Brian.
However, with that tactic, if he was angry, that may have set him off and exposed.
They could have seen it.
Yeah.
Yep. So here we got cops that either don't have the witness reports, the 911 calls, or we are mistaken in what they said. But I don't think so. I mean, when that fire was across the street from our house, I remember on the 911 call, I said, please send an ambulance because a guy escaped. He's sitting in my living room, and he escaped the fire. And so when they all get here, I'm like, where's his ambulance? Oh, someone got out? They escaped? Yes. That's what I said to the 911 operator. So I can see how it doesn't get translated to the first responders at times. Okay.
He said she was, and that's what caused him to hit the curb. She said that she got hurt. I might have this too.
She said that too, that she started distracting him by hitting him, and that he probably looked at her, and that's why the outcome, like, the person, that she started to involve in this scenario, and she was distracting him by hitting him. But she said she didn't try to hurt him, it wasn't malicious, she thought that he wasn't listening to her.
So assault is an attempt with unlawful force or violence to do bodily injury to another. The code for bodily injury, the definition says, bodily injury is infliction of pain or physical impairment or illness. So you can go this now. I'm recording, and society and the judges and everyone can judge me for this. I'm looking at a 110-pound female and her fiance who have no means to be separated. He doesn't want to pursue it. She's not a threat to him, more than slight abrasions from her fingernails. I don't care if we use the actual letter of the law to not charge, but I also don't care because it literally does possibly make
make perfect sense to go full-on domestic assault and do the whole thing. This is your opportunity to make the decision.
Okay, so what's happening is, you've got where again, she's admitting full on that she was distracting him and hit him a couple times. Now, by the way, I thought I had it in the video. She had marks too. She had them on the side of her face, and she also had, I think, one on her hand or her arm. So he definitely got her as well.
But they don't talk about that, and it doesn't seem to move them.
Yeah. Well,
and in the picture, it doesn't show any.
She just keeps saying what she did. She's not saying that he did anything. And so they can only go on what they're being told, plus the eyewitnesses, according to them, didn't say that there was any physical altercation. So what the cop is doing is he's like, it's your call.
Yeah.
I will back you up, but I don't think she's a threat.
Right.
But we cannot let them leave together. And this was like a 30-minute deal. Like they're trying to figure out ways to get him to a hotel. They're talking to people to see what they can do legally. I mean, that's why it was an hour and 17 minutes, is because they're trying to figure out a way to keep them out of jail.
They're trying to do their due diligence.
Yeah.
That's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah. And the female, she said something that I thought was interesting, but I forgot what it was that Abby said. But she's also saying, Abby's the one that's saying, or Gabby is the one that's saying, she did this, she did that. And she admitted to it, and that she was trying to distract. Oh, and then the intent. The intent was important, okay? So watch this, because this is the conclusion they came to.
I've decided I am not going to cite you for domestic violence battery, okay? It was only going to be a Class B misdemeanor. However, the domestic violence portion of it enhances it. Makes life a major pain in the butt, especially at year 22, right? So I'm choosing not to cite you today. So you are not going to be charged with it. Alright? But this is what I do have to do. I am separating the two of you tonight. Okay? I want you guys both to be tonight away from each other, relax, breathe, because there's no reason to be crying now, okay? I understand that this can feel like it's a nightmare, but you're coming out as the golden flower on top of it, okay? So, you're going to be taking the band tonight, and you're going to go somewhere else. I am going to get him lined up for the hotel room tonight. I want you guys to stay away from each other. For both of you guys to see. From what you told me and what he told me, you guys have a bunch of little things that are building up, and finally the little string that you guys were tight walking on the road tonight. Does that sound about right? So, I just want everybody to breathe, get a chance away from each other. We will talk to your parents, whatever it is you gotta do.
Okay, so that wasn't in the video what I was thinking of. I thought I had it. What they did before he said, I'm not going to arrest you, is I believe it's the other cop, which I think is handsome, with the beard.
Yeah.
So he
agreed.
Yeah. He came and he said, this is very important, so think carefully before you answer. And she shakes her head, and he said, did you intend to cause physical harm or pain? And she's like, oh, no.
Yeah,
and so
that was the law.
Yeah, she didn't know probably what he was trying to do, because they can't tell her.
Right.
But it was instant response, no, I wasn't trying to do that. So you can tell it's sincere and legitimate. So then they go talk some more, and they're like, legally, she did not intend to cause physical pain or damage. Guys, let's let her go.
Yeah.
And so what they did is...
That's an interesting law.
Yeah.
I like it.
It was the intent. So they instead described the incident as a mental breakdown versus a domestic violence. Okay? All right, so we're almost done dissecting it. But so far, I mean, do y'all see anything that they were doing that... I mean, remember, she was killed 2 weeks after this. So even if the cops would have arrested her, she would have been back out, and he would have still killed her.
That was their due diligence.
The only thing I could think of, though, is, what if they had arrested her, her parents would have known, and they could have come and gotten her?
Yeah, but they would have known that it looked like she had hit him.
I know, but they could have intervened, and she would have been home, and maybe they could have, I don't know.
I think
she probably would have lied. She probably would have taken it all on herself.
Because she did, because he had the marks. She didn't.
Yeah.
So
I just wonder if they, well, she had marks, but I wonder if they could have just, through a talk or something, you know. So that's the only thing I can think of. But to me, these cops are good cops, and I can't see that they were trying in any way to not do their job. They're just trying to keep this young couple out. And with her age,
she probably wouldn't have listened to her parents anyway.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay. Now we're back to Brian.
Taking some time tonight, specifically, taking tonight away from each other is going to be the major breaker in all of this. I think that'll help you guys, especially tomorrow when you guys meet up. So she does have a couple of messages for you. One, she says she loves you. She's looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. Two, don't forget to self-control.
Yeah, good. He let me fumble around the entire 3 laps on the car. I know.
Yeah, find one. Okay. The other thing is, I don't want you guys to contact each other.
Okay, watch. Oops, I didn't mean to. Okay, tell me what you see and hear at the beginning with him.
Taking some time tonight, specifically.
Did you notice his voice was hoarse? He was about to break down again.
Oh, yeah.
So what happened between the two visits was, he said, I really don't want her to get in trouble. I don't want her to be arrested. And so when they came back and said, this is what we're going to do, he was emotional again. And the cop went on and on and on. He's like, you know, relax, take a bath, you know, watch TV. But the thing was do not text. The only way that you can contact, because what happened is it put an immediate, like a restraining order type deal. Yeah. So the law was y'all cannot be near each other for 24 hours. So it's like a legal position.
What a nice law.
Yeah. And they were like, you can't even text. Like if y'all text or if you call and something happens, both of y'all are going to jail because this is like an illegal thing. Mm-hmm. And so they're like, okay. And they said the only exception is if there's like an emergency at home or something, like, you know, something happens to one of your family members. That's it. Other than that, you guys cannot have any contact whatsoever. And on top of that, the county paid for his hotel stay.
So, but there was nothing whenever the first message that she loved him, but the cell phone charger, which, by the way, incredibly thoughtful and sweet of her.
Yeah, make sure he gets, because he's always leaving
very
it.
Excited about that.
Well, and the other thing is the cop lied. She didn't say that. I watched the whole thing. She didn't say, when he said you have a message for him, she just said to make sure he remembers his cell phone charger. She didn't say I love you or anything like that. And he's like, well, do you want me to say this or say that? And
why would he say that then?
Maybe to ease
everything,
mind
yeah.
Make it, you know.
Like she loves you, blah, blah, blah.
You know, I'm sort of thinking that death was like a spur of the moment.
Oh, I think it was for sure.
Because his emotion and everything, it's not like he was just a killer.
Well, here's what I wondered. I wondered if he thought about it when he was flying and was at home.
After this?
Mm-hmm. Because, and maybe not, because I think it could have definitely been a rage thing where it was a spur of the moment. But I don't know, because he gets back 2 days later, she's dead. It makes you wonder, you know, was he thinking about what he could do? Was he playing this whole incident? Because my perception of him, and I could be incorrect, but just watching the videos, him committing suicide to control the narrative, he was very concerned with his appearance to others. His reputation and how he came off was a huge deal. And the embarrassment and shame of this whole situation, even though it actually probably was not her fault, because as we learned at the little Piglet's place, you know, that he was aggressive with everybody else and being a complete, you know, jerk. So I think she's probably dismissed his anger a lot, but I don't know. He maybe didn't think about killing her when he was gone, but did he just keep thinking about things that made him angry? I don't know.
I'm going to say I don't think that he thought about killing her. I think he just had a temper, and he has the signs of hurting someone and it escalating in time it would have. And something happened. They got in a fight and he just killed her. That does happen.
Yeah. So this is the last video of Gabby, and it is just kind of sad.
It is.
So anyway, but again, she did not die a couple days later. This like 2 weeks later is when he killed her. So the cops, they had nothing to do with that.
No, they didn't.
Alrighty, Gabrielle, you want to step out for me? As you can see, I have keys in my hand, which is good. Okay. So, something that I do that I emphasize to him, and I don't know if I emphasize to you or not. Don't text each other tonight. He wants to pass on the same message you passed to him. We're really looking forward to talking to you again, but I told him and you, unless there's earth-shattering emergency news, don't text tonight, okay? Even with the good nights, I love you. He's saying good night now. He's saying he loves you now, and you guys can talk tomorrow morning, okay?
And he didn't say
He's
that.
going to go to the hotel. I'm going to give you the keys to the van. I'm going to go home. All
I
right.
think he's just easing them both,
Here's that.
calm down.
I'm giving him a ride over to the hotel, okay? So, everything's going to be okay.
Will it be a far drive for me to get him in the morning? I'm just curious.
I'm not going to tell you where he's going to be at tonight. Like I said, I want you guys to be separated. But I can tell you this.
I just don't usually drive the van, so I just want to make sure it's not like far.
No. It's it's basically from here to Moonflower. Okay? It's not far at all. So, let's get you in the van, let's get you on your way, alrighty? Do you want that Gatorade, by the way?
Okay.
You got enough water? Also, something I want you to know. Here, stand over here real fast for me. If you go over to City Market, they have a list of places where you can get yourself a shower for like $4 or $5, something like that. They're pretty cheap. A place where you can shower, decompress, de-stress a little bit, alrighty?
Yeah, I just showered yesterday at one of those.
Well, you didn't have today happen yesterday, so it does my wife wonders. When she gets stressed out, it's like, get in the shower. Come on, let's get in the shower.
Really relaxed.
Go take a shower, relax. Take some time for yourself, and like I said, don't text each other tonight. Text each other tomorrow morning after your eyes open up and you're fully awake. That's your morning routine, okay? Alright, you have a good night, okay?
Aw, he was trying to help her again.
And you could tell she was trying to hold it together.
Yeah.
She's trying not to cry. She's trying to, and what was her concern? Is he going to be far when I go get him in the morning? Now, obviously, her concern was also that she didn't normally drive the van.
Which was concerning.
But still, the fact that she's like, I'm going to go get him in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think there was any way to save her. I don't think there was any way for her to make it.
As far as I'm saying, she loves you, he loves you.
He's lying through
That's
his
just a
teeth.
calming thing, I think.
No, I've never in my life lied and said that someone said they love you.
I think he was too, which is another sign that everybody missed the warning signs because, and again, of course, it's hindsight's 2020. Or armchair detectives, quarterbacks from the couch, right? So, but the thing is, that's not even a saying. I don't even know what it was, but. I think he was trying to diffuse their anger toward each other, saying, well, she said she loves you, don't forget your charger. Well, he gave you the same message. No, he didn't. You're lying through your teeth. Neither one of them said that except for the charger.
Now, that was the peacemaker cop. That was the one who was trying to tell her de-stress.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I can see what he was
you
doing.
saying that. You're a peacemaker.
I would.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I've said things like that before.
I'm too
to people.
factual.
But I don't.
If you didn't say it, it's not coming out of my
mouth.
mouth.
But I don't look at it as a lie. I look at it as a comment to calm someone down.
No, it's a lie.
Right.
And say
it's a lie.
Well, I have done it before.
It's definitely a lie.
So that's why I can relate.
Peacemaker.
Yes, like a peacemaker.
Yeah. Okay.
But anyway, so what are your final thoughts on this case? Because part 3, we've dissected it probably about as good as we can.
Well, like I said, I don't think he.
You think it was a spur of the moment?
I think it was spur of the moment.
I agree.
He had a lot of emotion. I think he did love her in his way, but there were definitely signs that it would probably escalate into more abuse later. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think it was just spur of the moment.
Not such a quick
fight.
death.
Yeah.
I think it was a passion killing in that he got overcome by rage.
Right.
But I also think that he was a poop bird. He was concerned about himself more than anybody else. He was probably a little crybaby. He couldn't handle stress. And they got into an altercation after the little piglets thing that happened. And he throttled her to death, and he could have stopped within the 3 to 5 minutes and not killed her. And then after he dies, he throws her under the bus. And I think he was a piece of crap. And I think his family need to pay. I think they need to go to jail. So even though he was crying and he got emotional, I feel absolutely nothing. I think that he was scum.
But here's the thing. Yesterday, we had sexes reversed. And we were not like this.
Well, now, if actually...
It was a crime of passion, and we're like, well...
Yeah, but with Clara Harris, actually, I think she's a poop bird, too. You know, it's not normal to run over your philandering husband 3 times with a vehicle, right?
But the rage can blind you.
Yes.
And just...
So I agree with the legal definition of her crime, which was sudden passion. So I agree with that. But I still think she's a poop bird, too, because she literally has her stepdaughter in the car and runs over her father before her 3 times, you know. So, no, I think she's a piece of crap as well.
Yep.
But the legal definition definitely fits versus first-degree murder or even second-degree. I think it was definitely a sudden passion. But, no, she's to me, in the same boat as him. You know?
I just want to say again, if you are getting physical with your
romantic interest, significant other,
etc., it's not a healthy relationship. Some mistakes were made. You just move on. Learn from it and move on.
Yeah, get away, because you may not have time to later. Okay, so my bad. I mean,
Sherry.
Yeah.
Grap,
we
look at you.
ended
you gripe at
without
us.
our taglines. Oh my goodness, especially after all the crap I've given you guys for the last 6 recordings or 7.
Well, really 3 years for me, because I haven't.
Well, I am thinking that maybe you should know it by now. But anyway, all right, guys, here we go.
Be smart.
Be rude.
And don't be a victim. And you literally had to pause.
I know. I know.
What were you going to say?
I don't know. Actually, I was concentrating on you because I thought you might say be safe.
Worry about yourself.
And that would have just totally messed me up, because she would have let you have it.
And then I was going to do it to mess with you.
Then I would have forgot mine.
I was going to do it to mess with you, Mom, but I chose not to.
Yeah.
Maybe next time.
Maybe we should do one on elderly abuse.
Outline of a Murder is a Mr. Joseph production. What do you think, Joseph?